It is time now for our Ask the Chief segment, where we sit down with Knoxville Police Chief Paul Noel. Chief Noel, thanks so much for joining us once again.
Thanks for having me.
Let's first of all start with a quick update. Just a few days ago, we had an 8-year-old girl in our community shot, a 14-year-old suspect charged. Give us an update on that.
We're so glad she's doing well. She was able to go back home last night, and we're able to arrest the suspect. We do believe that incident was gang-related. I'm really proud of the men and women in the Knoxville Police Department. We responded quickly. We were able to apprehend that perpetrator and get him into custody.
You mentioned the gang-related part. This is a 14-year-old. Is this something that you're seeing a lot of among kids, honestly, that age?
Not normally. Normally, the group that's involved in group and gang violence is normally much older than that, normally in their 20s and a little older. But, you know, we do have young men and women who are involved in that.
And before we move on, just how concerned should people be about gang activity in our community right now?
You know, we had the record number of, reduction in homicides last year, so I think we're doing a really good job, but we do need to be really cautious about what our kids are doing, especially out at night.
Well, let's talk a program that you're seeing some success with. In fact, it sounds like a lot of success with this co-responder program. First, remind people what it is and what you're seeing come out of it.
Sure. So our co-responder program, we pair up a police officer and a clinician from Helen Ross McNabb. And we go out and we respond to calls while people are in crisis. But half the calls we go on are people who are suicidal, and we try to have a non-judicial response outcome to that call, and in less than 3% of the cases we make an arrest. So that means in 97% or more of those cases, the person is not going to jail, they're getting the help they need, hopefully where they won't be in the same position they have to call us again.
Because years ago, if something like this were to happen, your officers are the only ones on the scene, and your kind of only option is to arrest the person, and that person doesn't get the help they need in the end.
Yeah, but before this, the only option really was to arrest them or kind of run them up the street, and then, which means that they're eventually going to continue to rehab these problems. So now we get them, we have the empath center, we have the behavioral health unit, we can get them to the hospital, and hopefully we can start working on some of these problems with them so we don't have to keep responding to these calls. We also do a lot of follow-ups as well when they're not on a call. They go back and they check on that person to see how they're doing, if they need another appointment, maybe if they're taking their medication. The results really speak for themselves.
Another new unit that you all have is the mounted unit. So I know you're excited about that. So let's talk about the good things, but also there's criticism of mounted patrol units as well.
I've not really heard any criticism really from across the community. Mounted police are great. You know, they're visible downtown. I'm super excited about them. They're not on the street yet, but they're going to be highly visible. You know, the cool thing about a mounted officer is they're so approachable. Right? You know, you have that horseback officer sitting on horseback. People love to come up to them. Kids love to come up to them. They're going to be walking downtown. They're going to be walking in Old City. We'll have them out for the football games most likely down there. I think they're going to be great.
Well, I have to ask you about this because at the city council meeting just the other night, there were some folks who stood up to criticize and say, hey, in the past, mounted units have sometimes been used to intimidate, and they can be scary, and they have been used in cases in crowds where it has not been good. But you've not heard that criticism.
So I can tell you, I worked in a department for 25 years when we had a mounted unit. Never heard that criticism one time. We've never employed mounted officers here yet, well, not in recent times, and really not downtown in the way that that I think people thinking, and the way we're going to be using these horses downtown, I think it's going to be great. I'm not concerned with that at all. I'm super excited about it, and I think the community is going to be overwhelmingly pleased with what we do and how we deploy these.
Well, Chief, thanks so much as always for stopping by to check in with us. We appreciate it.